And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado athletics. Exciting show on tap as the spring sports have really hit their stride here at Brevard College. We have all sorts of big results to report, and we'll get into it a little later in the show with some special guests from baseball, from tennis, and from track and field. And speaking of track and field, a big weekend up in Bristol, Tennessee, highlighted by two big wins as Jaxsen Wilkerson, who's scheduled to be a guest on the show later, won in the triple jump, and Channing Barker with a big win in the 800 meters. And that was the last event before a big one this Friday. It's the second annual Tornado Classic at the Frank Patton track on the campus of Brevard College. Action starts at about 10 a.m. It'll run till about 4:30 or 5 p.m. Would love to see out there this Friday, April 4th, at the Frank Patton track on the campus of BC. Women's tennis on a roll. They're 5-0 overall this season and keeping up with the men's team, who's also off to their best start in the NCAA era, now 8-2. Men's and women's tennis, they'll be taking on Pfeiffer tomorrow at 2 p.m. at the McCoy Tennis Complex, and then taking the road trip to Virginia to take on Mary Baldwin this Saturday. That starts at 11 a.m. Women's lacrosse off to a 3-1 start in the USA South Conference. They'll be back in action on the road at William Peace this Saturday in Cary, North Carolina. Men's lacrosse, their next matchup will be versus Southern Virginia on Monday. That's 1 week from tonight at 6:30 p.m. This will preempt the Tornado Talk on Monday, April the 7th. So we'll all be out at Isenhour Family Field and bringing you the action from there. Would love to see you here in person if you're able to make the trip. Softball at Mary Baldwin this Friday up in Virginia, and then it's continuing in the state of Virginia with a matchup versus Southern Virginia on Saturday. That brings us to baseball, who swept NC Wesleyan over the weekend. The defending USA South Conference champion NC Wesleyan goes down to the Tornadoes all three games. The first one, an absolute thriller. In 10 innings, the Tornadoes come from behind a 5-run ninth and then take it into the 10th. A walk-off for the win there as darkness was approaching quickly to Gilcone Field. And then game 2 of the series on Saturday, all Tornadoes, a 12-3 win. And then another tight one in game number 3, and the Tornadoes able to complete the sweep 5-4 over NC Wesleyan. The Tornadoes improved to 7-2 in the USA South Conference. They're winners of 8 of the last 9 games. And part of the success, Tyler Kelson, who's going to be on the show later, was awarded today with USA South Conference Rookie of the Week. Next up for the Tornadoes, a trip to Methodist, who sits atop those USA South Conference standings with a doubleheader on Saturday in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and then game 3 of the series on Sunday. That's a 1 p.m. first pitch. And that brings us to our first guests of the evening, as we're going to invite into the show members of the Brevard College coaching staff. We've got interim head baseball coach Vinny Carone, assistant baseball coach Cam Cook, and also assistant coach Steve Hucke along for the ride. Great to have these three with us. Coach Carone, congrats on a big series sweep this weekend of NC Wesleyan. It was a wild one, all sorts of twists and turns to the weekend, but now that you've had maybe 24, 36 hours to settle in after that weekend, can you put it in perspective for us here in NATO Nation?
Yeah, I think it was the most complete weekend we've played all year. We've talked for the last month or so about just playing a full 27 innings over a weekend, which is hard to do because they're long days. And it wasn't a full 27, but it was 23, 24. And those are the results you get when you have a good team who's focused for a whole weekend. And I think that was, like I said, our most complete weekend to date.
Cam Cook with us as well. And Cam, I'd like to reflect back on that game 1 with you. Wild evening. The game time ended up being over 3 hours, 40 minutes. The Tornadoes had to come back from 5 runs down and do it all in the bottom of the 9th to tie the game, send it in extra innings. And then as dramatic as a walk-off as you'll see, as the sun is setting on Brevard, North Carolina, and the umpires are talking about postponing the game to the next day due to darkness. Have you ever been a part of anything like that, Cam? And moreover, can you describe what it was like to our audience?
Yeah, no, I can safely say that I've never been a part of a game where we had to worry about the sun going down. Usually that's a practice thing, and we've never had to worry about it for a game. Just being there in that moment, for me, like I could just tell that no matter what the game, how the game went, what was happening, like we were going to come out in the end. Like you could just kind of feel that vibe going. Once we got in that ninth inning, once the first guy got on, then the next guy got on, and it just kind of kept rolling. And it was just like you could feel the gears shifting, and the train starts coming down the tracks, and you weren't stopping us. And that was just kind of the feeling that you got as I was watching the game. That was kind of how I perceived it.
Yeah, a dramatic, a gritty, come from behind win. Tornadoes get it done 9-8 in 10 innings. We'll be talking about that throughout the show. We'll have the star of that game, Tyler Kelson, who came up with a huge walk-off in the 10th inning on the show with us, along with Aaron Burchett, who was part of the pitching staff that got it done this weekend as well. And Coach Hucke with us also. Now, when you win in that kind of dramatic fashion and there's that much energy exerted in game one of the series, it's a big challenge, I would imagine, to come back and win the next two on a Saturday in a doubleheader situation. And the Tornadoes did exactly that. Could you talk about the Saturday performance, those two games, getting the sweep?
Yeah, it's always a concern. You come off that big high after a big win like that, especially to come back after being down 5 runs and to be able to, come back and find a way to win the ball game and then to have time to think about it. Like in that moment, you want to play again right away because you're up, you're ready to go, and then, oh man, I got to wait overnight. If I don't sleep that well, because they're all excited, and then they get ready to play the next day. It's just trying to get them refocused, and I thought that the guys did a really good job of looking towards that game, the next game, not relishing the previous game. I mean, it was a big win. So probably the best thing was they had time to sleep on it and get ready to prepare for the next game. And I thought that our focus was there pretty much most of the game, both the games. At times, you like Vinny said, it's a long day. And everyone, no matter if they're playing or not playing, you're going to have a little lull. And I thought that we overcame some of our lulls and were able to go out there and take care of business when we had to.
Yeah, and we're able to get the 12-3 win in game number 2, and then game number 3, Coach Carone comes around, and this one's just a dogfight, and we're heading towards down the stretch, and NC Wesleyan, you can kind of feel them starting to gain some momentum themselves. There was a stretch there where their pitching had shut down the Tornadoes, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th inning. And, the Tornadoes had to become resilient, in a 4-4 game and get it done in the bottom of the 8th. And then the pitching coming through, the bullpen shutting down NC Wesleyan in the 8th and the 9th. I would love for you to talk about the grit it took in that third game for the Tornadoes to get the win.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of the same grit that we showed in the first game where things don't go well for the whole game and there's a little bit of an up and down, but we kind of rode that wave and we got towards the end of the game. We've been in that situation so many times this year. The guys are finally starting to get some confidence in themselves in those situations. And we feel like we're the better team. When you feel like you're the better team, you have the confidence that you're going to come through. And you realize you don't have to be perfect because your defense will get your back if you're on the mound, or even if you give up a run, we can still score a run because our offense is good enough, and vice versa. So I think the trust in each other that they have from being in those situations helps us to stay poised, stay confident, stay emotionally controlled throughout those moments. And I think the teams that have the most poise and are the most controlled emotionally are the ones that usually come through in those moments. And we showed that throughout the course of the weekend and definitely in that third game.
Yeah, but no doubt about it. Coach Cook, some big pitching performances throughout the weekend as well. What got your attention on the mound for the Tornadoes?
Yeah, definitely. The first thing that comes to mind is Andy Farringer coming in twice on the weekend and definitely getting it done. Second time, a little rougher than we would like, but sticking through it, keeping his composure and getting it done in the end. Jordan Searcy had another great start, and then followed by Aaron Burchett, who, even though the score wasn't probably the similar score that in situations he'd be in, he still came in and had a heck of an outing nonetheless. So yeah, those are my 3 key performers, and also Matthew Evans. Can't knock Matthew Evans. He also had a good performance as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And Coach Hucke, the bats came alive at opportune times in those clutch moments in those late innings, and in both game 3 and game 1, of course, but also showing some real power at times, as we saw several tornadoes go yard in this series. How are the tornadoes swinging the bat these days?
I think they're swinging it very well. We've taken really good approaches, I think, pretty much for the whole season. We just haven't been on the fortunate end of those. Sometimes baseball's one of the sports you do everything right and you don't get nothing for it. And I think Hayden Jennings sticks out in my mind. He's had so many clutch hits and so many line drive at the second baseman that got nothing, but he kept coming back, and then got a clutch hit here, gets a clutch hit there. Frankie stepping up in the first game and coming in leading off with a double, and then Kelson holding his composure and getting a base hit to win the game. I mean, I think what I've seen is we've been kind of emotionally connected all week, and over the weekend everyone kind of rode their emotions the right way and responded the right way, and you see that at their approaches to the plate. They slowed the game down just enough that it was going to be successful for us. I think we had a lot of confidence going into the plate, and I think that really helps too. Is I'm going to get a hit here, or I'm going to make something happen here. I'm going to move this guy over, whatever, let somebody else, Nico Bartolotti got a couple clutch hits for us. I mean, you're getting clutch hits from people who haven't done it earlier, but now they're starting to come together and they're starting to build off of what everybody else is doing. Of course, you got Kale. I mean, my list could go on and on and on. It's fun to watch these guys connect and fun to watch when they're all together.
Yeah, and certainly makes it difficult for the opponent when you've got that much pop throughout the lineup, and guys are getting it done from all different spots in the batting order. Well, Coach Carone, next up, a trip to Methodist and a look at the USA South Conference standings, a 3-way tie atop the standings, 3 teams at 7-2, including Brevard College, as Methodist, Greensboro, and Brevard all deadlocked at 7-2. Methodist, an excellent club this year, 18-8 overall. They've been receiving votes in some of the national Division III polls. Would love for you to preview this week ahead, which will be culminating with that matchup at Methodist.
Yeah, the first thing that stands out is their pitching staff. Swanson is won Rookie Pitcher of the Week or Pitcher of the Week a number of times for them. I think he didn't give up an earned run over his first 5 or 6 outings, and even now his ERA is below 2. I think he's going to be tough. He throws from behind the righty's head, so winning game 1 alone will be a battle. It's going to come down to good pitching, and then on the offensive side of the ball for them, they're kind of known for their bunting and their small ball and their stolen bases, which they still do at a very good level, but they can hit 1 through 9 is going to get on base and driving runs. They might not all swing for the fences, but that makes them tougher to pitch to at times too, because it doesn't matter 2 strikes or what. They're not just going to go swing and wail out a pitch like some teams do. They're going to make you execute pitches for the whole count. And that'll be a challenge, I think, for our pitchers, but then also to field our position when they bunt, and also to limit the base running from them once they're on base. So we've talked about emotional control a lot throughout the course of the season, but it's going to be important for our pitchers to stay poised once those base runners get on, because although getting from first to second is important, I think the impact that they have on you mentally, because they're running so much and they're doing so much small ball, is probably a bigger impact than the actual value of getting from one base to the next. So our pitchers have to be prepared for that. And then offensively, we just have to keep doing what we're doing and grind out good at bats. And like Hucke was talking about, 1 through 9, there's not an easy out anywhere in the lineup. So I have confidence that we'll be able to grind out 4, 5, 6 runs at least. They'll probably get us one of the games where we're below that, but we should get them one of the games too, or above that. So just trying to keep our composure and play 27 innings like we've been saying all season.
Awesome stuff as we head into April and come down the stretch here in the USA South Conference. Great to see this sort of pennant race atop the USA South Conference. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, big time congratulations to the coaching staff, the team all together, playing some great baseball right now. Big time sweep over the weekend over NC Wesleyan, and looking to keep this train going. Coaches, stick with us just a moment or two longer. We're going to invite in a couple of the stars of the weekend as we'll, get the screens really popping here on Tornado Talk, as Aaron Burchett has joined the conversation. Also, Tyler Kelson. All right, Cam, you mentioned Aaron, one of your pitchers on this staff here. Tell us about Aaron and what he's all about.
Yeah, Aaron's still a young guy on our pitching staff. Last year, he only had a few opportunities, but he still made a good opportunity count. And you could see that translating into this year. He's become a huge part of what we do. I think he's already doubled his innings from last year, and he's really showing it. He's a guy going in this year. He was like, I want the ball as much as possible, and I'm going to do good things with it. And he's shown us that. We give him stuff for his last name because obviously there's been a few Burchetts through the Brevard Tornadoes, but he shows it. He embodies it, and he comes in with that fire, and he pitches his tail off. So that's one of the things you can see every time he gets on the mound.
Outstanding. And Coach Hucke will give you the honor of talking about the reigning USA South Conference Rookie of the Week. That was announced earlier this afternoon. Tyler Kelson with us. Tell us what Tyler's all about.
Oh, where do you want me to start? No, TK's been he's definitely a true freshman. He's learning to like we're talking about controlling the emotions and doing things the right way. But what he brings to his team is a lot of excitement, a lot of I would say energy, and you just can't wait to see what he's going to do next. It's going to be a great play in the outfield, a great throw, clutch hit here and there. He's fun to be around. Him and I have a little fun in regards to trying to get his attitude and emotions a little bit more in check at times. But I don't mind the fire. I don't mind the fight because he's doing it for Tornadoes. And he's doing it for us, and that's the main point. It's like when I get him in the dugout, it's okay. Now calm down. It's okay. I know what you're doing. It's all right. But love being around him. He's gonna have a great career here.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, well, appreciate the coaching staff, interim head coach Vinny Carone, assistants Cam Cook and Steve Hucke. Hey, coaches, thanks so much for joining the program. Congrats again. It was a ton of fun this weekend at Gilcone Field, and I can't wait to see what happens this weekend at Methodist. Best of luck this week.
Thanks, Phil.
All right. So we'll turn our attention to these two gentlemen. I believe both making their Tornado Talk debut, and great to have Tyler Kelson with us in that upper right location. How are you, Tyler?
Hey, Phil, I'm pretty good. How about you?
Doing great. Great to be with you. And also with us is Aaron Burchett, a big part of the pitching staff, and coming through big this weekend in that sweep of NC Wesleyan. How are you, Aaron?
I'm doing good, Phil. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to be with you. Well, let's start with you, Aaron. As far as the weekend went as a whole, can you kind of describe the mindset of the team and, obviously that game one thriller that, everybody was a part of, but then you guys got it done on Saturday as well, getting that doubleheader sweep and sweeping the series. How'd the weekend go down from your perspective?
It was definitely a thriller. I would say that the emotions played a big part of the whole series, keeping the highs and lows. I think for a pitching staff, I think it's one of our best weekends we've ever had. Everybody knowing their role and coming in and doing what they have to do.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense, and you guys certainly got it done in a variety of ways. And Tyler, I would be remiss to have you on this program on this Monday evening without asking you about the walk-off hit. The Tornadoes come from behind, the 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th, and then the big opportunity comes with a runner on base and the walk-off single in the bottom of the 10th as the sun's going down and we're worrying about darkness and all these things. Tyler, tell us how that went down from your perspective and just how special of a moment that was for you and the team.
Well, originally I was supposed to bunt and move over the runner to third, but then as soon as he threw it at my head, missed a pass ball, moves to runner to third. I look at Hucke and I was like, you know what? I want it. I want it. So as soon as I get in the box, rip one down the line, and as soon as I see the umpire signal fair, I threw my helmet and started just running straight for center field. And I'm sorry for the pitchers and the dugout, but I was just too excited. I've never had this experience before, especially my first walk off into college.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Big congratulations. Just so you know, statistically, we have to call it a single. But
I know. Yeah.
But awesome stuff. One for the ages at Gilcone Field. Those of us who've seen a lot of baseball there, this is one that everyone's going to remember for a long, long time. Aaron, tell us about from your perspective and the rest of the team. You guys. Not only the walk-off, but that comeback in the bottom of the ninth, just wild, able to get it done. Can you talk about the belief that this team has and how it came through that night?
Absolutely, Phil. I think one of the big parts, especially with this entire team, is one, having the leadership that we do. Having 19 seniors or 18, it plays a very big role for us. Especially me being a younger guy, I have some people to look up to. But I would say mostly important, it was just everybody was on their heels or on their toes, actually. It was definitely it was a thriller. I loved it.
Yeah, and tell us about that, sort of mob scene. Once the hit drops, the fair signs given, the base runner finds home plate, and then you guys mobbed Tyler, who's up up in your upper right hand corner right now. Tell us, how that all went down and how it felt, to be part of that celebration.
The emotions were high. It was great. I don't think any pitcher really appreciated having to run out to center field, but it was a great thrill for all of us. Really glad seeing Tyler in the lineup. I think it brings all of us a lot of joy seeing him in there. But yeah,
no doubt. And Tyler, we talked to the coaches about this. A big part of this is, all right, emotional night, long night, had to be, adrenaline still pumping, well into the night. I know how these things go. Sometimes it's tough to even get to bed after a game like that. I know from a broadcaster standpoint, it's tough to calm down sometimes. And I can only imagine from the athlete standpoint, but then you guys got to refocus, get back after it on Saturday. And that's exactly what the Tornadoes do. What do you think the key was to getting it done on Saturday and coming away with that sweep?
I don't know. It's just knowing that we could beat them, just having that coming back, having all that energy. Yes, we have to go home, go back, sleep on it, but just thinking about it, probably dreaming about it, just having that energy, just keeping it up, and then coming back, just knowing that we could beat these guys, that we're not hammered, we're him. So we are those guys.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Certainly, the belief, the confidence right there, and you guys got it done, no doubt. Now a big matchup this week, and every matchup's big from this point forward in USA South Conference play, of course. But you head to Methodist. Tornadoes playing great. Aaron, what's going to be the key to this week of preparation and then execution this weekend at Methodist?
They got really good hitters. We've kind of been preparing for it all season. We've all known it. And the biggest thing for all the pitchers is just going and attacking it. Getting that first pitch strike, it's going to play a crucial role for all of us.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So, and from the hitter's perspective, Tyler, what's the week going to look like for you guys in preparing for Methodist?
Just getting a lot of swings in, knowing just probably looking over how Ian Swanson is probably going to be pitching, how all the other stars are going to be pitching. Just going up there knowing that no matter what, we're going to be able to hit them, and just sticking to our approach how we've been this past weekend.
All right, Tyler, let's stick with you. Freshman outfielder from Duluth, Georgia. Tell us a little bit about your journey, how you ended up here at Brevard College. It's been great to have you on board, and a big weekend, of course. But tell us a little bit of how you got here.
It was my senior summer, and I was looking for colleges. I wasn't really good at recruiting, so I was sending emails out. Sent an email to Vinny, and he got back to me the next morning. Talked to him, got up here, loved the campus, loved the area, stayed overnight, did a little workout. They offered me, and I was like, this is the best place I could be. So I committed here, and it's still the best place I could be.
Awesome stuff. So happy that you found Brevard College, Tyler. Great stuff. Now, Aaron, a little bit of a different situation, I would imagine, because there's a kind of a family tree going on here, some lineage of Burchetts. Aaron is Brett Burchett, the esteemed Brevard College alum's younger brother, and he's the cousin of Blake Burchett, who won the NCAA Division III stolen base crown not too long ago, and now the third Burchett to become a Tornado baseball student athlete. Tell us about that connection that your family has with Brevard College, Aaron, and also ultimately how you made your way here to Brevard.
Absolutely, Phil. Well, I'm finally the last one. I've been coming here watching Brett and Blake for the last couple of years. Absolutely love the environment. Kind of had a rough couple of years when my brother was here, and then his senior year and his fifth year, they took off. I feel like they played a big role for me coming here, and I've loved it ever since I've committed here.
Awesome stuff. And Aaron, what are you working on in the classroom?
I'm currently a criminal justice major with plans on going into the federal light route.
Tyler, freshman year, have you decided on a major? Have you zeroed in on a course of study?
I have, but I haven't declared it yet. I am going to be declaring in PER, physical education and recreation. I wanted to be a PE teacher when I grow up, so that's the path I'm going to be taking.
Very good. Two excellent programs here at Brevard College. All right, Tyler, the way this deal works, I know it's your debut here on Tornado Talk, is you've got the opportunity for shout outs or thank yous. Anybody who's helped you along the way, who might be watching the show, either live or on replay, the floor is yours.
I want to shout out my parents, especially, and my sister. She's one of my biggest supporters, but I want to shout out my family and especially everyone else on the baseball team, the freshmen, the sophomores, the juniors, the seniors. They're a big part of why I enjoy playing baseball and why I love being here. So I want to shout those people out.
Nicely done. Aaron Burchett, same opportunity for you. Got shout outs for us?
Definitely mom and dad. They played a big role in helping me be here. Definitely brother, kind of influenced the way I've been here, and girlfriend as well.
Tyler Kelson, Aaron Burchett, two of the stars of this weekend's sweep over NC Wesleyan. It was a weekend of the ages at Gilcone Field, one that we won't forget for a very, very long time. And you guys, two, are the big parts of making that happen. Congrats on the weekend. Best of luck in preparation this week. Let's keep this thing rolling heading into Methodist. Tyler, Aaron, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
All right. We're going to switch gears quickly and head from Gilcone Field to the McCoy Tennis Complex and invite into the program head men's and women's tennis coach Brad Jones. Great to have Coach Jones back aboard. How are you, Coach, this evening?
Good, Phil. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, great to have you. Hey, a great season so far, for both the men and the women. Women's tennis currently 5-0 overall here in this, spring schedule, and the men's tennis 8-2 overall on the season. Awesome starts, historic starts in terms of the NCAA era here at Brevard College. Can you tell us a little more about, these great starts for both teams and, how well the teams are playing these days?
Yeah, both teams are off to a really hot start. The guys got off early in the fall where we traveled to Pennsylvania and Maryland over fall break and played some dual matches up there. And then the girls, due to the hurricane, got a little bit later start and didn't really start their dual matches until kind of the spring season. But a lot of that is due to the seniors and the upperclassmen that we have on both teams. They've really came out the gate really swinging, playing hard, practicing, and really helping, especially on the men's team, helping the younger guys, the freshmen, kind of, what to do and, kind of basically what needs to be done to take care of business.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense, Coach. And, it's always a journey, but until you kind of get going and really understand, the dynamics of each year's team, you aren't able to really tell, where you're headed necessarily, but certainly great starts for both sides. Let's start with the men and dig into it a little bit further. Tell us a little bit about, the lineup that you've been using for the most part and, what fans can expect when they're watching the men's team.
Yeah. So we've switched it up a little bit this year than in the past. I mean, we have Man, I think we have 2 seniors at the top. We have 2 freshmen at 3 and 4. At 3 freshmen at 3, 4, and 5, and then we flip flop between a freshman and a senior at 6. Doubles, we have two seniors play 1 doubles. We have 2 seniors play at the number 2 spot. They don't play singles; they just play doubles. I have one senior, Noah Lewis. He's going to be on later. He really showed a lot last year in doubles, so I really wanted to kind of use him in his kind of where he's comfortable at. And then we have another senior, Ethan McGee. He flips back and forth between the singles 6 and stuff, but putting him at 2 doubles really helps just because of experience. But really with him, it's his serve and his volley and just being real big at the net. He's over 6 feet tall, so it kind of helps, be that fierce figure at the net that we need to really, take care of the volleys and the overheads and stuff like that. And then rounding out the number 3 doubles, it's 2 freshmen that also play singles.
Very cool. So, a lot of versatility, it sounds like, and between that senior group and then also, these younger players coming at the opponents with all sorts of angles. Women's side, would love for you to kind of break down the lineup there and, what fans have been seeing this year and what they can expect moving forward as well.
Yeah, women's, we have 4 seniors in the lineup in the top 6, and then we have 1 freshman and 1 sophomore. So that senior group has really kind of led the charge into their quick start into the season. The sophomore kind of picked up where she left off last year and last spring whenever she came back from her knee surgery and was able to kind of get back into it mid to late in the spring season. And then our freshman, she's a volleyball tennis player. So, I really, with her coming in, I was just hoping that we could get her in doubles some way, somehow, just with her size and her hand-eye coordination, not only with volleyball, but also with her tennis skills. But she's kind of worked her way up into the singles lineup and has come away with some pretty good victories.
Yeah, Casey Wampler, who plays both volleyball, had a big impact on the volleyball team this past fall, and great to see her, working hard on the women's tennis side of things. Tell us a little bit about that, Coach, because I know you've dealt with it before. A couple examples come to mind on the men's side in particular, but what it takes for a dual student athlete to take on the tennis season in addition to the other sport they might play in the fall or the winter.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's tough. It's you're playing 2 seasons on top of academics, so it can be a grind. But with tennis, there's a few sports that translate over very well: baseball, softball, volleyball, and soccer. Baseball, softball, and volleyball, you have the hand-eye coordination. Soccer, you have the feet. So a lot of those sports really transition over very well. But it's really just kind of the dual sport athletes. It's just time management. Being able to take care of what you need to do off the court. So once you get on the court, you can focus on your craft and your sport and what you need to do to be successful, come match day.
Very good. Here with head coach Brad Jones of the men's and women's tennis programs here. Well, Coach, this week, action at the McCoy Tennis Complex tomorrow, 2:00 start. That's Tuesday versus Pfeiffer at the McCoy Tennis Complex. Always fun when the Tornadoes take on Pfeiffer, regardless of the sport. Always feel like there's a natural rivalry there. The 2 sports entering the USA South Conference the same year and so forth. But what can we expect tomorrow at the McCoy Tennis Complex? This matchup versus Pfeiffer.
It's going to be a battle. Every year the guys always, the Pfeiffer men always kind of, they bring it. So, we know what to expect. We know how to show up and how to play. The women, we always flip-flop every other year. We always beat them. They beat us and vice versa. So it's going to be a tough matchup. Obviously, you kind of hit the nail on the head with the rivalry part. But it's really just kind of going in there with tunnel vision, knowing what we need to do to be successful, and then really just kind of playing the mental game and bringing the hard hat and, bearing the nose and get to work. I mean, that's, not worrying about if they call balls in or out or what they say maybe in between the points. As sometimes it's happened, but, you just kind of got to, put the earplugs in, put the blinders on, and really just play the ball that's coming at you, and really not even worry about the opponent. And that when you do that, and also have a little fun with it too. I mean, it's it's tennis, so and plus it's supposed to be a nice day, but really just kind of just mentally and emotionally just be prepared for what's about to come. I mean, we're in the USA South, we're in conference play, and they kind of got a little bit of it at Covenant, and these teams, they bring the passion, they bring the noise, and we got to be ready for it.
Tornadoes versus Pfeiffer. That's tomorrow, Tuesday at 2 p.m. Hope to see you at the McCoy Tennis Complex. Should be a lot of fun. As you said, it should be a gorgeous day and a real battle between the two teams we're expecting. And then the Tornadoes will hit the road this Saturday, a trip to Mary Baldwin. And Coach, you mentioned it, USA South Conference play. We're in the thick of it now. And these matches really matter. They're important for seeding come the USA South Conference tournament, correct?
They are. For us, it's really just kind of where we match up with a few teams. We know what teams we need to beat, and we know what teams are going to be close matches. For the women, it's really, Pfeiffer's really good this year. They have a really good women's team, so it's really kind of seeing where we compare with them, and then where we can kind of compare up with Methodist and Southern Virginia. On the guy side, it's being able to battle Pfeiffer, NC Wesley, and Methodist, but it's really going to, in my opinion, going to come down to the last match when we head up to Virginia, to Southern Virginia, and play them. That's really it's going to determine who's going to be the kind of the 4th or 5th seed in the tournament for us.
Very good. Strap in. It's going to be an exciting April in USA South Conference play for the Brevard College men's and women's tennis teams. Coach, stick with us just a moment or two longer. We've got a couple of your student athletes been waiting patiently backstage. We'll invite them into the program now. Looking forward to this conversation. Sophie Trantham with us. Also Noah Lewis joining us as well. Coach, before we let you go, let NATO Nation know what these two student athletes are all about.
Yeah, they're both exceptional student athletes. First of all, I just want to thank them for their 4 years. It hasn't been easy. It's been, lots of ups and downs, but, their hard work, just not only on the tennis court, in the classroom, out in their communities, and really just kind of put in the work and really help growing this program. They really have put a lot. Sophie, she's a double major. She's, she's finishing up her project, and she's, one of the leaders on the team. Noah, he's same thing. He's finishing up his senior year. What I have been really impressed with him is, the work he's done in the classroom, and their improvement and being able to step up and take care of everything, not only on the court, but also off the court as well. And really just thankful for both of them, for their contribution to the program and helping the program get to where we want to go.
Fantastic. Really appreciate those sentiments, Coach Jones. Hey, best of luck tomorrow. Can't wait to see the Tornadoes in action versus Pfeiffer. That's Tuesday, tomorrow at 2 p.m. at the McCoy Tennis Complex. Thanks so much, Coach Jones, for joining the show. We'll see you tomorrow at the McCoy Tennis Complex.
Yep. Thanks, Phil. Appreciate it.
All right, there he goes, Coach Brad Jones. And Coach helped us introduce these two outstanding student athletes in our upper right location, Sophie Trantham, the senior from Matthews, North Carolina. How are you, Sophie?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Great to have you aboard. And also Noah Lewis joining us, the senior from Anderson, South Carolina. How's it going, Noah?
Good.
Well, great to be with you both. Senior year. Let's start there. Sophie, does it feel different, being a senior and, being a part of this tennis team throughout your career like you have? But here we are, your senior year. How does it feel, for this to be your senior season?
It's gone by so fast. Like when they say soak everything in, it's going to go fast. They really mean it. I feel like I was a freshman just yesterday. I'm very thankful to be on the team and I've loved it. It does feel different being a senior. I'm like, oh, this is my last time playing this team, or this is my last time traveling here. So it's a little bittersweet.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Noah Lewis with us as well, part of the senior class, for the tennis program. Same question for you, Noah. Have you kind of put into thoughts as far as, what this means, your senior season here at Brevard College Tennis?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I definitely think we got to end it with a bang because I've been here 4 years. I mean, like Sophie said, it does go by fast, and you do learn a lot over the years, but it's nice to be able to tell the younger kid, like the younger group, freshmen, tell them how the ropes go and tell them what coach expects and stuff like that. So it's very nice to see them grow up as well.
Yeah, and I would imagine, Sophie, knowing the tennis team, it really has to feel like a family, and it has to feel like home in a lot of ways, the McCoy Tennis Complex. I see how much time you guys spend there, together as a group, whether it's practices or matches or, just even in the off season when you're hitting. Can you tell us just how close of a group you guys are, the men's and the women's tennis team, the whole unit?
Yeah, well, we're really close because, we travel together except for whenever we're going to all girls schools. We hang out whenever we're at the hotels. We'll go down to the pool, chat. We'll play games on the vans to keep time, play question games. Sometimes we play Among Us on the phones. We just entertain each other, and we're just really close.
Yeah. Noah, anything to add to that as far as, just the, sort of family closeness that you guys have as a tennis program here at Brevard?
Yeah, I feel like it's a different aspect considering that we all share the courts together, considering we only have one head coach, and we all get a lot of time together. So we all hit not just at McCoy, but we also hit at the racket club. So we're all close on that level, and it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Last one, as far as this whole sort of, senior and, being a part of the team idea. Sophie, is there a memory that comes to mind when I ask you, this is a question come senior day, we'll revisit a little bit too, but is there a memory that comes to mind as far as, that one moment, whether it's something funny, something that brought you all close as a group, something on the court or off the court? What's the favorite memory as you look back on your career here?
This was a long time ago, but freshman year we were traveling to Virginia, and our teammate Alley Cat, she was eating a breadstick really weird at Olive Garden. She put like the sauce in the middle of the breadstick instead of dipping it. And my teammate Brooke, she started laughing so hard, and then coach started laughing really hard, and he spit out his soup. And it's probably one of the funniest moments. So that really brought us together.
Yeah, it's those kind of moments, team meals and so forth, that can bring a team together. Noah, is there something that comes to mind on your side? Hey, by the way, I know you guys are still trying to make plenty of memories here this senior season, so I don't want to take anything away from that. But as far as your career so far, is there something that comes to mind as far as a special memory that you always remember?
I would say not like a distinct special memory, but the van rides are always interesting. There's always something that happens on the van rides that you can always remember. So it's always fun to go on away trips and stuff like that because we all bond together on those 5 hours, sometimes even shorter road trips. So it's very interesting to be a part of that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Well, let's take things on the court. Sophie, you've been having a great season. You've been getting it done on singles play. How have you been hitting this year? How have you felt on the court this season, your senior year?
I've been feeling pretty confident, except I am struggling a little with my mental game, just thinking this is it. This is the last couple matches. So I do struggle trying to stay positive, but I am working on that. Coach has helped me a lot with that, and my teammates as well, just keeping the positive language going and just being uplifting.
Yeah, and Noah and Lewis with us as well. And Noah, a lot of success on the doubles side this season. And I've been seeing you work with a couple of partners, Ethan McGee, also Peter Bresco, wins over Huntington, Johnson Wales, Covenant, as the graphic shows there. Tell us a little bit about that doubles game and, how things might be a little different, whether it's working with Ethan or Peter.
So, yeah. So I've had a lot of experience playing with Ethan throughout the 4 years. So we've bonded together. Also, same with Peter. And you're just playing with two different players. You can go out there and you have confidence in both players. They're there to get the job done. So it's very nice to have that comfort feeling on court and be able to just go out there and just play our best and give it our all.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And, that doubles competition in college tennis is really a unique aspect of the college game compared to, what people might watch if they're watching the ATP or WTA. Can you tell our audience a little bit about, doubles play in college tennis and how it's so important to get the team off on the right foot?
So for college, D3 at least, we start with doubles first. So it's very important for us to get into doubles mindset and get that win, because then it'll lead us off into singles. And if everyone's in the right headspace, we can play our A game. And it's very important to have a lot of communication on court, because those doubles matches bond you and your partner together, whether you realize it or not, because you communicate the whole time. And it just helps us get the job done overall.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Sophie, Coach mentioned a double major. So that means 2 degrees
Yes.
when you finish up here as well, as graduation's around the corner. Tell us a little bit what the 2 degrees will be in, and any future plans you may have.
Yeah, so I'm a double major in criminal justice and psychology. I really enjoyed both, so I figured why not just do 2 majors. I like to challenge myself and push myself academically, and I felt like I could do it, and I have. I've been working on my senior thesis, and I've just gotten all the results from that, and that has been really exciting. And my plans after school, I want to go to graduate school. I haven't decided whether for criminal justice or psychology yet, but I want to try to find a program that'll merge both together.
Fantastic. Great stuff. Can't wait to see what's next for you, Sophie, and congrats on the upcoming graduation. 2 excellent programs here at BC. Noah, tell us a little bit about your studies coming down the stretch as well, heading towards graduation, and what you might have on deck.
So I'm an exercise science major, and I'm also minoring in coaching. And after college, I kind of want to take my tennis career towards like a coaching field, like either working at a racket club or something like that. That way I can give my tennis knowledge to the younger group and kind of share what my experience has been along the way.
Very good. Congrats to both of you. You guys have been awesome examples of student athletes here at Brevard College. It's been a lot of fun to follow your career throughout, and can't wait to see what's still going to happen in this last month of action. And it begins tomorrow versus Pfeiffer. Hope folks can come on out to the McCoy Tennis Complex. 2:00 start on Tuesday. All right, Sophie, you've been around. You know the drill. Time for shout outs. Thank yous. The floor is yours.
Shout out to my mom and dad, of course. They've been my biggest supporters. I don't think I could have done any of this without them. Shout out to my little brother. He's always been there. All of my family, all my friends, my boyfriend Nicholas, all my professors, especially Mareshi and Dr. Boucher. And I want to thank Coach for giving me the opportunity to play at BC.
Awesome stuff. Sophie Trantham. Noah Lewis, same opportunity for you. Got any shout outs for us?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out my parents. I mean, they've been there for me since the jump, so it's really nice to have them alongside, rooting me on. And I'd also like to thank Coach as well for giving me the opportunity to play here. And I'd also like to give a shout out to all the freshmen, all the teammates we have on our team, and give a shout out lastly to professors, because they have a lot of leniency when we have away matches. So
very good. Yeah, excellent job throughout your career. Best of luck tomorrow versus Pfeiffer, and we'll be following you, every stroke from this point forward throughout this 2025 season. Sophie Trantham, Noah Lewis, great job this evening. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, it's been great to talk some tennis, and we'll switch gears very quickly again as we are quickly preparing for the 2nd annual Tornado Classic. We're going to invite in members of the track and field coaching staff, as Izzy Musser, a familiar face, has joined us once again. Also, Director of Track and Field Josh Hall, and also Coach Cam Isenhour. Great to have the 3 track and field coaches with us. We'll start with Coach Hall. Coach, this is an exciting time of year for Brevard College Track and Field, as we're just days away from our home event, the 2nd annual Tornado Classic. It's this Friday. It starts at roughly 10 a.m. at the Frank Patton track. Tell us a little bit what this week is like, not just the preparations, but, certainly the excitement for the student athletes.
Yeah, the excitement is pretty surreal right now, getting prepared for it. And they're just excited to be home. It's always something they're looking forward to, and somewhere they're comfortable competing. And so looking at entries the past couple of days, it looks like to be a pretty good meet, and we got a lot of good competition coming. And so it should be a pretty good one for us.
Very good. And begins this Friday at 10 a.m. Coach Cam Isenhour, I know you've been busy behind the scenes preparing. Get us into the logistics a little bit, and sort of the structure of the event, what fans can expect, and the schedule come Friday.
Yeah, so I've done a lot of behind the scenes, getting officials ready for the meet, and preparing everything for that. It'll start in the morning at 10 o'clock with the 10K, and then we'll move into the 4x8 and then the standard schedule of running events. And then our field events will have javelin going on, uh, hammer and discus going on, long and triple going on, pole vault and high jump all going on as well throughout the day. So I'm really looking forward to fans coming around, seeing a lot of great competition, and especially check out the different field event venues as well as what's on the oval.
And Coach Izzy Musser with us as well. And, there's nothing like these home events, Coach. Obviously, you get to have the gratification and the satisfaction of being able to be a host for all these other teams. But what an opportunity for the home student athletes to be able to have that home field, home venue advantage. Tell us a little bit about how this translates to a big opportunity for the Tornado student athletes.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity because I remember when I was a student, getting to see your own classmates, your teammates maybe from other sports, or maybe even just your peers and your roommates and your suite mates come out there and kind of support you and just kind of give that great family environment. It's a great atmosphere and kind of a great energy. It kind of helps you perform better and it pushes you. It gets a lot of excitement. Having that home track advantage you don't get very often, but it helps you really a lot to succeed since you're there so much, working over and over in this venue. So it's going to be a great weekend.
Let's stick with you, Izzy, because you've been working obviously closely with the throwers, your specialty, and both on the men's and women's side. A lot of exciting results so far this season with the throwers. And again, that home court advantage, that home field advantage should be interesting come Friday. For fans of the throwers and who are going to check out, whether it be hammer or shot put or discus or javelin, what can they expect from this year's Tornadoes?
You can expect a lot of exciting competition. We've got a lot of high caliber athletes out there this year to help push our athletes. A lot of big numbers that they're going to see that they haven't seen all season, if not in their career overall. So it's going to push them a lot to hit a lot of personal bests as well. So we're kind of hoping that it's going to be a really good meet for us as well. But you're going to see a lot of firsts for our facility, as well as a lot of firsts for our athletes as well. So it's going to be a really good experience to see kind of what our athletes have been doing all season and kind of how that translates to this home meet.
Awesome stuff. Coach Josh Hall with us as well. And, we're coming off this event at King University, just a couple of days ago up in Bristol, Tennessee. And two results I couldn't help but, turn my head. We're going to talk to Jaxsen Wilkerson in a little bit about his triple jump win. That, along with a dominant 800 meters from Channing Barker, who won the indoor championship in that same event. Would love for you to comment on those two results that we saw at the King University event over the weekend from Jaxsen and Channing, and where they stack up on a national basis. I don't know if folks quite realize, how big of a deal this is as far as these national level results we're seeing.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive, and to watch that in person, Phil, it was surreal. So to have two caliber athletes like that, it's a dream come true for some coaches, and we got them right here at Brevard. So starting off with Jaxsen, it was his opener for triple jump. So first meet coming off, and to be honest, he was just like, "Hey, let's go send it." And so he works his tail off, and it provides for him. So when he hit a 1374 for a first jump, and we're like, okay, now we know what we need to work on, and currently ranked 20th in the nation for triple jump. So not his PR, but it was better than what we started off from last year. So good to see that improvement, and the dream's alive to go back to the national championship. This time it's in Geneva, Ohio, at Spire Institute. And so hoping to get back there with him. Channing Barker, on the other hand, just a dominant race from the gun. She was by herself, made up the stagger on a one-turn stagger in the 800. And by the time she got to the backstretch, it was her and her alone. And so she was racing against herself, her mental state, and the clock as well. And so when she came through the first lap, we knew she was in for a big time. She came through the 600 mark, and we're like, man, she might have a shot at getting the national championship mark. And at the time when she finished with a 2:16, it was currently at the time 6th in the nation. And then performances come through this weekend, and she's currently ranked like 24th at the moment. So it is a long season. It's early. And so you can go from 6th to 24th just in a couple of hours. But I feel like she's ready, and she can see the vision, and she's ready to go again.
Awesome stuff. Really appreciate that context, so our viewers, really understand, how elite, so much of our team is here at Brevard College with the track and field team. Cameron Isenhour with us as well. And Coach Isenhour is also the head coach of the cross country team, and would love for your comments, Coach, about, the distance runners and how, there's cross country, of course, in the fall, but then there's a good number of the distance runners who make their way to the track and take on a variety of events. Could you talk about, sort of the philosophy there and, what we're seeing this season from the Brevard College distance runners on the track?
Absolutely. So cross country, we really want to build that endurance for the guys to run 8K, so 5 miles, and the girls to run 3.1. And transferring over to track, a little more speed in terms of 800 and 1,500 meter runners. Channing Barker, she's done amazing. Owen Plukar has done great as well. He's currently ranked number 2 in the conference in the 800. And freshman Colvin Hill is putting up some good numbers as well. And then in the distance side, in our 5K, 10K group, Shay Granger and Ethan Carlin are doing a phenomenal job in that, and will race their first 5K in this home opener. But really a lot of faster paced workouts, interval training, lactate threshold training to really improve them on the track. And I think you'll see some phenomenal times from them this Friday.
Coach Izzy Musser with us as well, and kind of similar to the question I just had for Coach Isenhour. Coach, you're coming from the indoor season. There's a couple of events specific to it, and now you're here in the outdoor season. Very quickly, one season becomes the next. Could you tell us a little bit about perhaps the philosophy of what athletes perform in what events, and how you sort of figure that out, that puzzle, because you could say, hey, I'm a thrower, but how do you decide whether you're going to do shot and discus or, perhaps javelin or, a hammer throw? How do you decide who does what?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about indoor is that weight is kind of similar to your hammer throw and shot stays the same. So those who can kind of get a grasp on who's clicking better with those versus who we can experiment with outdoor. But even then, every day we kind of pick and choose and kind of experiment with, okay, what are we good at this week? What's clicking this week? What's not clicking this week? We kind of like start from the bottom over every single time. One of our throwers, like Cameron Eubanks, he's been trying to figure out how to make the disc work for him. He's just such a big guy, such a small ring, but he popped off this weekend. I had a great discus throw. Same with Noah Westbrook. He's had really good marks in the indoor season, and then he came on hit that exact same PR first meet of the outdoor season. Our guys are very adaptable to whatever events they're in. They're kind of dominating in 3 events at once, and it's kind of insane to kind of see. And our girls are kind of the same way. Kinsley had a really good season in indoor. We're like, okay, well, let's see this translate to hammer. And it's been really good kind of getting that transition in. Same with KJ Henderson, getting that shot put going. She's starting to really light up when it comes to jav. And jav as well with Alfredo Sixtos. It's kind of his main event. He hit a 15-foot PR at the first meet of the season. It's just kind of great to see them find what events are more comfortable for them since they're all so different, and kind of see that click and just watch them go over the seasons.
The second annual Tornado Classic. It's this Friday. Begins at 10 a.m. The women's 10,000 meters. Also on the field event side of things, the women's hammer is the very first event of the day. And then we just get busy from there. There's all sorts of action, whether it's jumps, whether it's throws, whether it's sprints, distance racing, you name it. And then it culminates with the 4x400 relay women's, and then followed by the men's relay race at the end of the day. But all sorts of action throughout the day. Coach Hall, before we bring in the student athletes, for a fan who might be coming out to a track event for the first time, how in the world do you recommend that they tackle all this and all these options as far as what to see and how to take it all in?
Yeah, kind of like what I said last year, keep your head on a swivel. It's one of those things where you got a lot of events going on at the same time until we just get to the oval events. So I'd encourage to go check out some stuff, like check out the throws, check out the jumps, pole vault, high jump. So there's going to be a lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving events all going on at once, until those are over and we get down to the running events and it's just the running events. So there'll be jumps going on at the same time as other jumps and throws and some races going on the track. And so bring up your lawn chair to the Frank Patton track and have fun.
Yeah, a great time for sure. A lot to witness and a great opportunity to see these Brevard College Tornado student athletes do their craft, on their home venue. It should be a lot of fun this Friday, the second annual Tornado Classic. Well, stick with us just a couple more moments, coaches. We're going to invite in a couple of your student athletes who've been waiting patiently backstage, as Jaxsen Wilkerson has joined us, also Imani Singleton. It's great to have these two aboard. All right, Coach Hall, tell NATO Nation what these two are all about.
Yeah, so these two, they're my top jumpers right now. And they work their tails off. It's one of those things where they've bought into the training plan. They're some of the hardest workers out there, and it's just a joy to have them. And for both of them to be juniors, I'm very blessed to say they'll be back next year. And I'm ready to coach them again for another year. They got a lot of potential, a lot of growing to do, and they can see that as well. So they got a good vision, and they're ready for it.
Coach Joshua Hall, Coach Cameron Isenhour, Coach Izzy Musser. Hey, thanks for joining the show. Best of luck this week. I know it's a ton of work behind the scenes to put together these home track and field events. We can't wait to see all the action on Friday. And, hope we can get a big crowd out there as well. Thanks for joining the show. We'll see you Friday at the Frank Patton track.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
All right. Well, we'll turn our attention to these two outstanding student athletes. In that upper right location, we have Imani Singleton. How are you, Imani?
I'm doing good, Phil. How are you?
Doing great. Great to have you aboard. And Jaxsen Wilkerson back on the show. How are you doing tonight, Jaxsen?
I'm doing absolutely amazing. How about yourself, buddy?
Doing great, especially when it's the week of the home event. I'm ready to go. I can't wait for Friday's action to get started. Well, Imani, let's start with you. The second annual event. So there was an event last year, of course. We hosted the USA South Conference Championships the year before that. So this is becoming a bit of a regular thing here. But what does it mean for you to have this chance, to be able to race on your home track?
I'm very appreciative of the opportunity, especially because the community can come out and watch us, and just to have the chance to show people what we do at our track and how it works.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, sort of exposing our community here on what you guys are all about with the Brevard College track and field team. How about you, Jaxsen? Tell us, how would you grade the excitement level? I know it's only Monday, but for you and the team to get to race, jump, throw, do your thing at the Frank Patton track.
Home court advantage is just absolutely, it just takes over. So I'm just ready for the energy that it's going to bring. Just like Monty said, the community is going to come out, multiple opportunities to see this, because not many people are going to go out and see this actual team and how we actually go out and perform. We've only done it once and we liked it. Got rained out, but it was pretty good. And I want to see that energy again. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome stuff. Jaxsen, have you finalized as far as your schedule goes? What events you're going to be competing in, and can you share that with us?
At the moment, I am only considered into triple jump, long jump, and pole vault. I believe it's either pole vault or javelin. But yeah, I got 4 events. No, 3 events. Sorry.
Yeah, and when you're working multiple events like that, and we'll get to Imani in just a second on a similar topic. How do you manage that in compartmentalize these different events and so forth? You've got to be laser focused for each one, but you got another one right around the corner.
It's actually really hard because you'll be sitting over here and you'll hear one thing to jump as high and as far as possible in long jump. But then you step over to your next event and be in triple jump. You do that, it doesn't work. So then for everything that you learn for like trying to stack on, just mushes together sometimes in multiple events, and it's like hard to differentiate. But once you get the feel of it, it's so like it just clicks.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Well, can't wait to see you in action, Jaxsen, on Friday. Imani, same question for you. What can we expect from yourself? What events will you be competing come Friday?
I know we're doing the 4x1, so that is very exciting. I am also doing long and triple jump. My other events are still being decided, so I'm excited about that. But just the chance to do the 4x1 as well, we did it last year, so I was excited to see what time we can run this year, try to beat that.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, 4x100 meters, a relay, of course. Tell us a little bit about what it takes, to have a successful 4x100 meter relay.
Perfect handoffs and some fast girls. Can't drop the baton. Got to make sure you get it around. Focus on like what you need to do. Every leg is different and what they contribute to the race. So you kind of just use that to build up and to win the race.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And tell us a little bit about the jumps and how you approach those, Imani.
Well, I just started long and triple jump, so kind of excited to see my progress in that and how much I really come with doing it. I'm excited for long jump because I'm trying to get that 5. I've been jumping really close to getting that 5. I really feel it. I'm going to get it soon. Triple jump as well. I'm working on my different phases and just getting back to it.
Very good. Awesome stuff. Now, Jaxsen, you mentioned pole vault, and that's a new feature here at the Frank Patton track, something we haven't seen on the Brevard College campus in previous years. Tell us a little bit about how you've gotten acclimated to pole vault and the challenges of pole vault.
I'll be completely honest with you. I'm really not. I'm very, very new to pole vault. Thank you to the coaches and other officials. I was actually able to get a pole that was actually my weight. So now I finally have the chance to actually hopefully go out and send something because terrifying, but I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see the action in all the events. But for the first time, we'll see pole vault action at the Frank Patton track as well. Imani Singleton with us, the junior from Ravenel, South Carolina. Imani, tell us a little bit about your journey in track and field. When did you get into it? When did it become serious? And then, now you're at the college level competing.
Well, I started track in 6th grade. I went to middle high school, and then I went to James Allen Charter High, where I really fell in love with track. I had some really good coaches, Coaches Shaber, Coach E, and Coach Chris. They were really good. Really made me fall in love with track. That's when I knew I was a sprinter. And then when I got to my collegiate level, I can really thank Coach Hall for introducing me into long jump because I fell in love with it. The same for triple. So just seeing how far I've come since 6th grade and the different events I've picked up and how I'm able to like take it and run with it, I'm excited to see where I can go and how conference is going to be this year.
Very cool. Jaxsen, same question for you. When did you realize that track and field was the sport for you, and how did it go from there?
Like Monty, it started in 6th grade just because I wanted to pick up a third sport throughout middle school. But followed throughout that, really liked it, fell in love with high jump. So then I just wanted to be a jumper at that point because I didn't feel like running a lot. But transition to high school, had a great coach, Dana Smith. I always remember him. shout outs. He was the one that really like pushed me throughout my freshman and sophomore year. So then during those times, like he just really clicked in and resonated and taught me a bunch of things. But unfortunately, he did have to leave. But then followed through, went to state, junior, senior year, and after that, I just knew I really wanted to do it in college. And then to
Awesome.
be in college.
Yeah, and then here you are, and you made that trip to the national championships last year. I know you want a repeat this year, but can you reflect back a little bit about how special of an opportunity that was?
It was absolutely like just an experience of like no other. I kind of lucked out because it was a 3-day event and I didn't have to do anything till the last day. So I had 2 days to train on the beach, to train in the pool, see the sights, go out, eat some great food, get a bunch of training in at the track. They had amazing sand. Like they had like beach sand, and if you're a jumper, you understand sand is great sand. So it was just a life-changing experience, and I really enjoyed every second of it. And I was so fortunate to be up there.
Wow, you
Now,
taught me something. Not all sand is the same in those jump pits, huh? Yeah, it makes a lot of
Australian
sense.
sand.
Australian sand, top of the top shelf right there. Imani Singleton with us as well. Imani, tell us a little bit what you've been working on in the classroom.
So I major in biology, environmental studies, and I minor in chemistry. So I've been doing a lot of TA for my environmental studies major. I really love educating others about the planet and like the true cost of what they're doing and about putting out what you give in. I'm also a tour guide and a student ambassador. So I kind of love my job. I love meeting new students, talking to prospective students, answering any questions they may have.
Awesome stuff. Imani, have you thought a little bit about career paths with the degrees that you're seeking?
Yes, I want to be a herpetologist after grad school. So I want to milk steaks and make antivenom. So after I graduate from Brevard, I would love to go into a master's program that allows me to like work with reptiles and amphibians.
Awesome stuff. How about yourself, Jaxsen? What have you been working on academically?
So majoring in business, minor in psychology. Love the business and how business and psychology can go hand in hand because business is people, not understanding people. As far as future plans, just really want to be a business owner, just want to start my own thing, be the boss. And as far as school life as well, I'm in cab. So that's the fun side. I feel like that's the fun side of the work studies. We get to just go out and have a bunch of events and a bunch of tournaments and stuff like that. It's really fun.
Awesome. Well, appreciate both of you guys, just, how much you're experiencing here at Brevard College and, getting involved and giving back as well. So really, really appreciate how you both approach your experience here as a student athlete. All right. Well, you touched on a little bit, Jaxsen. You gave an early shout out, but y'all know how this drill works. We'll let Imani start. You got shout outs. Thank yous for us, Imani. The floor is yours.
I just like to thank my support system as well as my family, my team, coaches, Brevard for allowing me to come and do all of this, the experience to run on your track as well as take the classes here and take it and put it towards my degree.
Very good. Well said. All right, Jaxsen, your turn. Shout outs.
My mom, my dad, my granny, coaches, team, all my friends in here, my roommate Sethington, Perdie, physical therapy, everyone up there, Brittany, all of them, amazing people, getting me right. And Brevard.
Brilliant. Jaxsen, you may have a career as a NASCAR driver. You're ready to reel off those sponsors if you need to, right? Great stuff. Imani, Jaxsen, it's been a lot of fun having you on the show this evening. We'll see you on Friday at the Frank Patton track. Time for the second annual Tornado Classic. Before I let you go, though, how about one last, pitch to our audience, why they should come on out on Friday. Jaxsen, tell our fans, why they should come out on Friday for the track meet.
So, like I said earlier, the energy has got to be there. So we need people to do that. And I believe that if we can get a whole community behind us, we can go out and we can all chase some PRs and we can show you guys a really good time. send it out. Have a good day. Hopefully the sun and the weather holds out for us. It'll be a beautiful day of most fun.
Awesome. Imani?
I think that the community will bring better energy, as well as to see what the throwers got, the sprinters, the jumpers. The 4x1 is the first time running it for the men's and the women's. We got the 4x4 going on, a lot of team events. So just the support from the community would be very good.
Awesome stuff. Monty Singleton, Jaxsen Wilkerson, two of the athletes you'll see in action on Friday at the Frank Patton track for the second annual Tornado Classic. Great job this evening. Thanks for joining the show. We'll see you on Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. And that wraps up another edition of Tornado Talk. Really happy that you're able to join us for this one. A lot of fun talking track and field, tennis, and baseball. Hope to see you Friday at the Frank Patton track for the second annual Tornado Classic. Also, tennis action tomorrow, 2 p.m. at the McCoy Tennis Complex. Hope to see you there when the Tornadoes take on Pfeiffer. Big thanks to Lex McLaughlin behind the scenes, who was able to help us as the producer this evening. Also, James Laycock getting it done behind the scenes as well. And sports information director Joseph Marvin for all he does. For all of us at Brevard College, that'll do it for another edition of Tornado Talk. Go Tornadoes!